All right, everybody. Welcome. Let's do this. It's Tuesday, December 26th, the day after Christmas. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Yo. I hope you guys had a Merry Christmas. Hope everything's all good. I know this is out of nowhere. An 8 p.m. live show out of nowhere. I figured we'd knock this out because we've got a couple of updates. We've got some recruiting stuff we're going to go over. And, of course, we're going to talk about Kenny Guiton and maybe some names to go over. I had a list of names sent to me. I think they've already kind of been mentioned in the public space to some degree. But we're going to go over them a little bit, kind of get an idea of where some of these guys are at, current or former offensive coordinators. A couple of them have been here before. So, again, we'll go over some of these names. Not going to go over basketball just yet. It'll be here before you know it. We'll have more content. But this will be basically Wednesday's show. So do me a favor. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Shout out to John Haas, who's already sharing across the socials. I do appreciate that. Patreon supporters. We're at 97. I don't know what we end up with. We're at 97 Patreon supporters. So if you want to help out a small independent channel, man, that's how you do it. You don't want to throw some money in the PayPal. You want to just straight up do a monthly thing. Patreon's the way you do it as far as supporting small independent channels. Let me get that Patreon out for you. How come you didn't mention this to me? Dad, are you kidding me? It just happened. Arky56 is already shaming me. He's already shaming me. It just happened. And when I saw that it went official, I decided, you know what? We can get 3 birds with one stone. Not just 2 birds. We can get 3 birds with one stone tonight. Why not go ahead and cover it now? I don't expect this is going to be something. Some people, you're going to watch this Wednesday morning. I don't expect a lot of people here tonight, but during the live. But I know tomorrow you guys will wake up and see this. So this will be your Wednesday content. But for those of you that are here, I do appreciate you. Please consider liking, sharing, and if you're new here, subscribe. Merry Christmas. John the Cowboy. Merry Christmas, man. Yeah, I hope you guys all had a great Christmas. Mine was really good. As I'm getting older, there's fewer Christmases that we have to go to every year, which is, you know what, whatever. It's good or whatever. It's fine for me. I don't mind 2 Christmases, going to just 2 or 3 a year. It used to be a lot more. Like when my wife and I just got together, we started dating in December of 2004. I feel so old. And like that Christmas, 3 or 4 weeks later, I think we had like 5 Christmases. As we're getting older, they're dropping in number. And I kind of hate that. We need to go see more people. We need to get better at that. All right. Okay, glad you had a great Christmas, man. Hey, appreciate you, Logan. I hope yours was awesome as well. John Haas, gang. What's up, folks? Farrell Hogman. What's going on? Sucks to lose him, says Brody Farrell. He's a good recruiter and has connections. I've seen some happy he's gone, which I don't get. People blame him for the wide receivers, but that's not won't address the elephant in the room. Yeah. Well, let's talk about it. All right. In a second. First, we got to start off with recruiting. We are a little bit behind here because the holidays and whatnot. But Arkansas does land a couple of guys. Bradley Shaw, linebacker out of Hoover, Alabama. Now, he has a teammate Jeremy Cook, 6'3", 195-pound safety, good-sized kid, fun film to watch. Good video to watch. It doesn't sound like he's going to make it on campus. I think he's all in. I think he would have signed. From what I understand, talking to a couple of folks, it's going to be a qualification issue. Could be, normally it's grades, or it could be just like school attendance, whatever, not meeting the proper amount of check marks that you got to have to move on. Doesn't sound like Jeremy's going to get those. We wish him the best. Maybe it's similar to the situation they had with what they've had before with players where, that player goes JUCO or goes to a smaller school. Tykees Crawford comes to mind. You remember him? He was committed, 4-star offensive tackle. He couldn't qualify. He went to Charlotte for like a year. Then he recommitted and signed with Arkansas. Could be something like that. From what I understand, he was all hog. I've not heard anything other than that. Would have been a really good get for Arkansas. But again, that's Jeremy Cook, who I don't believe will qualify. But Arkansas gets his teammate, Bradley Shaw. I really like this kid, not just because he's got the 4 stars, but he's got good size, 6'1", 220, good lateral movement, plays well in between the 53 yards of space he's given, hash mark to hash mark. He looks pretty damn quick. Clemson was all over this kid. I think back in November, I want to say, he went on a visit. Just he's a multi-sport athlete. I always like that. I like those guys that do a little bit of track. I think he does shot put or something. He does he does shot put. He does discus. He's a little bit involved in this and that. About 6'2". I've heard he's closer to about 6'2" or a tall 6'1", just under 220 pounds. He is the top 10 linebacker in the country, according to 247 Sports. Top 10 player in the state of Alabama. He's a top 15 linebacker, according to the composite score, just inside the top 200. So there's a big difference between the composite ranking and then his 247 ranking. I mean, 101 on the 247 ranking and 182 on the 247 composite. And he's also backed out of the top 10 in Alabama as far as where he ranks in the state of Alabama. And he's also backed up a few spots overall rank as a linebacker. But again, Bradley Shaw, just a terrific get for Arkansas. Again, I'm pretty excited about him. That was a really, really strong get. We know they did really well in the portal overall. Or they did so far. They've done well. I still think they're at about 7 or 8 spots based on who they think may still leave. Last we heard from Sam, that's where they're at. But right now they're transfer ranked. They are falling back. I don't know where they end up, but right now they went as high as 11th in the country at one point. Now they're backed all the way up to 23rd in the country. Will likely move up. I think they're going to be at about 7 or 8, but whatever. We'll see what they do. We also don't know if they're completely finished with high school. I'm assuming they are. They have 17 players who have signed the letter of intent. So, yeah, that's and by the way, Cross Johnson did get a scholarship. Someone had asked me if he did. In fact, I'm pretty sure that was a scholarship to him. But yeah, I like what they did in the portal. Xavion Sorey was a big get for them. I mean, I think that's going to be someone who's going to come in and help. I mean, the more you look at it, the better you're starting to feel about where the linebacker position's going. You still got a couple of guys that are going to – so far it looks like they're going to stick it out. We'll see if that remains to be true when we get out of spring camp. I like Addison Nichols, the former four-star interior offensive lineman out of Tennessee. Like him a lot. Fernando Carmona, who grades out according to PFF. By the way, if you're a PFF member – or excuse me, a Patreon member. I mean, you could be a PFF member too. But I have it for both NFL. I tried to do the whole fantasy football thing with it this year. It failed me miserably. But also it's good for college numbers if you want to look at like where they lined up at, how many snaps. Their grades I always take with a grain of salt, but they're still worth looking at. Again, Carmona's PFF grades are good. But if you're a Patreon supporter, you have access. You know, I got some of the highlighted things about them, kind of like their own little bios put together in the Patreon Discord. Obviously, Taylon Green was a good get. We've kind of already gone over this, but just to get kind of a little caught up, I like where they're headed. But I love Bradley Shaw. Now, that makes me want to redo my top 5 list, my top 5 favorite Razorbacks, because I think Bradley would break into that. I really do. I think Bradley would break into my top 5 new additions out of this or high school players out of the 2024 class. Very good pickup. And, again, you had to battle Clemson for this dude. From what I understand, Clemson was all over this cat, and Arkansas managed to bring him out of Alabama. So, again, transfer rank 23rd. Overall rank on 247, you're just outside the top 25 at 27th. We'll see where they end up. All right. Go to class. Simple. It may not even be that. He may just, might be struggling a little bit. I mean, it happens. My God, I graduated with like a C- average or whatever. I did the best I could, right? I mean, what's going on? What's up, Tyler Edmondson? What's up? What's up? What's up? What do you think our needs in the portal are the rest of the way? I dig a Ridgeway type defensive tackle to find those guys. Yeah, I still think they need to go interior defensive line. I think they probably will. I don't know what they're going to do at corner. I think the kid they thought they were going to get, I believe he committed elsewhere. The Green, former Georgia player, I believe he committed elsewhere today. Did I catch that right? Let me pull up his name or his list. That's a pretty big. I thought he was a lock. Maybe I read that wrong. Green. I can't think of his name. It's Nealon Green out of Georgia. Yeah, grades out really high. He was a former 5-star out of high school. Hogs were rumored, and this is off the Patreon. This was posted back on the 19th or on the 12th. I'm sorry, November 12th. Hogs rumored to be one of the favorites. They were, and then the 19th, he removed Arkansas from his list, and he ended up committing elsewhere today, or maybe it was a couple days ago. Whatever. Green's not a Razorback. That's a pretty big loss. But he had a really good grade, and that was someone they were all in on. That's unfortunate. You got one Green, couldn't get the other. I was really hoping they could get him. I liked him a lot. He was someone who was going to come in and I think would have been too deep easy. I think he would have been too deep easy. Maybe even a potential starter. We'll see what happens there. But we also added another name. There's a edge rusher out of UCF. If you want to look up, again, I've got his stats and some other grades posted in the Portal Players Patreon page. So if you want to go check that out, we added another player today. There's going to be more. I mean, this isn't over. It's not going to be over until, February? I mean, yeah. So in terms of needs, yeah, we could go all over the place with needs. I mean, I still feel like they need to go out and grab a – you wonder now with Kenny Guiton out, with him going to Wisconsin, by the way, it sounds like he's headed to Wisconsin. What does that do with the remaining players, right? Centennia, who knows, right? Armstrong tweeted, Brody tweeted today, kind of didn't seem like they were super thrilled. I mean, what did you expect them to do? Do you expect them to do cartwheels? Do you expect them to do like jumping jacks and push-ups? Like, yeah, all right, man, we got rid of the guy. He's gone. No, I mean, they weren't going to do that. But they certainly publicly on Twitter let it be known they weren't super thrilled about it. You know, I mean, it was something as simple as an emoji by Brody, a sad face emoji or something. No, it was a heartbreak, the heartbreak emoji. I mean, that's typical. I don't know that anybody – I mean, listen, that was their coach, right? He's been here for a little bit since Traylon Burks. He's been here for a while. And, you know, when you're talking about position coaches, you know, and a guy that was here throughout all the drama and, of course, was a fill-in at the coordinator spot, of course they're probably latched on to the guy. I know they love playing for him. And that is something, you know, when you look at recruiting, I think he did a fantastic job recruiting high school players. I think he did a really good job. He strikes me as the type of guy I would like to see him. It may not have been the worst idea to give him another year just to see where some of the guys he recruited develop. You know, just to see, like, when you look at this day and age with all the transfers coming in and out and these guys leaving, these high school kids come in, not super thrilled about transfers coming in and taking their spots. It's amazing that, first off, he was able to keep Isaiah Centennial. Remember, they had to get him to commit after he'd committed to a couple of places. It was good that they went into the portal and grabbed, you know, who they got, considering at the time it didn't seem like they're going to get anybody else. I liked Armstrong. I thought Teslaw was going to be the man, and who knows, maybe he still will be in a new system, hopefully one that actually resembles a pretty decent, you know, offense on the field. That should help everybody out, right? Assuming Petrino really does have full control over what's going on the offensive side of things. And that could be why Guiton's taking this job to Wisconsin too, right? This could be something similar to that. But yeah, I mean, Guiton went out and grabbed some guys. Listen, Tesla was wanted by Deion Sanders. You guys remember the whole Tesla thing where he went and they got a Tesla and I guess they showed it all. I don't really know what that was all about. Was it like, what did they do? Park a Tesla outside the locker room and like, hey, check out this Tesla? Like, I never really understood why they did that. That's interesting if that's what really happened. But anyways, we know Deion wanted him, and yet Guiton did manage to get him on campus and managed to get him to commit to Arkansas. Armstrong wasn't, I don't think, as highly regarded. Of course, coming out of Texas A&M, what's that school called? Commonwealth, whatever. Texas A&M Commonwealth. Is that right? Whatever. Coming from a school I'd never heard of until he committed and signed with Arkansas. The problem that I always had with Guiton was really since Burks, I don't know that any of his receivers really accomplished much. Now, this last year, it's hard to hold it against anybody because I believe, and I think a lot of people subscribe to this idea. There was either communication issues between Danny Enos and the offensive line, or the offensive line was just clearly that bad. Now, I have a hard time seeing them regress as much as they did from 2022 to 2023. But these offensive linemen, the whole thing was bad. You know, KJ giving them about 2 seconds to get rid of the football. It was hard for anybody to shine, and it's really, again, I've said this so many times, it's hard to hold it against anybody. I saw today in Discord, I did everything in my power to keep my mouth shut. I didn't want to say anything. I just turned on Spider-Man 2, started playing Spider-Man 2. Y'all were getting a little silly, though, talking about how everyone regressed as if it was completely their fault. Guys, this offensive line and Enos, this never meshed. Nobody thrived in this offense, and it starts up front. As someone who played offensive line and listening to other people talk, DJ Williams, who of course played tight end here, listen to other people analyze who are outside of Arkansas media, analyze some of the issues with Arkansas. The offensive line didn't allow anybody to flourish. So it's not on Rocket and AJ Green for regressing. It's hard to do anything when you have a shit offensive line and when you don't have whatever was going on between Dan Enos and Coach Kennedy. Listen, it's not to say they didn't have fault, and I say the same thing about KJ Jefferson. It's not as if they're innocent in all this. They're not. But I think, given what they did in 2022, that didn't happen by accident. Guys, they've had 3 6,000 total yards of offense and production in school history. KJ Jefferson and Rocket Sanders were major, major, major parts of that last year. So again, is it a coincidence that everybody struggled and KJ was sacked as many times as he was? And why the receivers, Kenny Guiton's group, were unable to do anything and look good. Now, talking to, again, whether it's QB Spotlight, Stephen Hamner, or some other media people, receivers were not getting open. They were struggling to get downfield and create separation. Apparently there was just maybe there was, again, go back to that miscommunication thing between Coach Kennedy and Dan Enos. Maybe it was the same thing with Kenny Guiton and Dan Enos. Maybe Enos really is the catalyst to all this. And now you've got Petrino who's going to come in and hopefully there's a better line of communication, and given Bobby Petrino's history and his past and him being such a high-level offensive mind once upon a time ago, we'll see if that comes back this year. You can't fault what happened to him at A&M last year because it doesn't sound like that was ever his language and that was ever his playbook. But, I don't subscribe to some of the stuff you guys are saying in Discord today. I mean, I don't think anyone regressed as much as you believe they did. I think, again, it just simply was the language. It was the communication. The offensive line was horrible. Nobody's going to look good in that. And again, what happened in 2021 and 2022 didn't happen by accident. So, and we know now KJ, it sounds like did he commit and sign with TCU? Sounds like he's going to go, and that's smart. That's where he should go. That's the kind of offense that he's going to flourish in. He's a system quarterback. And like Stephen Hamner and I talked on a Patreon live actually a few weeks ago, there's nothing wrong with the system quarterback. Now, unfortunately, the system that Kendall Browse runs, that style of offense, it's more common than it's been ever, but it's not the common thing that you see NFL offenses run. So his ability to play in the NFL probably not super great. And again, I also saw KJ take a lot of the blame. If you watch Tesla this year, watch a lot of the throws to Tesla. The guy's always covered. There's no separation. Armstrong a couple times, which is crazy. I thought, spring and fall camp, my God, these receivers are going to be unbelievable. And they weren't. And again, it's everybody to blame. And it started up front. I think the offensive line and Danny Enos, I think there's just not a good – maybe it was a bad working relationship that we don't know about. Maybe there was some toxicity going on there. So all that being said, I'm not sad that Guiton's gone. He's not a member of the staff where I'm like, oh, man, that's a blow. I don't think it's a blow. I really don't. Loved his high school recruiting. I just don't know what to make of what he did out of the portal. Hazelwood and Landers were okay. Landers, of course, was a favorite option for KJ to throw to. This year, again, it's hard to really even know what was really going on there. I will miss his ability to recruit high school, which is why I say it wouldn't have made me upset had he stuck it out another year, because I would sure like to see some of these guys develop under him. And now in a Petrino offense where you might be given a better opportunity, who knows what could happen this year. And these transfers may ball out finally. Maybe Kenny Guiton was a genius all along, and it really just was where I believe it really was along the offensive line and with Dan Enos. Bobby likes speed. Look out for Coos Johnson. Yo, what's up, Addison? Is Ole Miss still unbeaten? They are, aren't they? Oh, Tennessee's going to be a wake-up call. But I think Ole Miss is I'm not giving them – I hate to say it, but I've watched them a little bit. They're a pretty good team. Now, I still think Tennessee's going to take out some frustration on them. I just said there's no one on the offensive coaching staff that's going to hurt my feelings. Yeah, it doesn't hurt my feelings with Guiton going. It doesn't. And it's so hard to hold what happened this year against him. But then you go back to the year before that. Hazelwood and Landers were just kind of afterthoughts. A lot of that too, though, is the veer and shoot. Like, it was very clear. Kendall saw that he had the ability to run the ball, and that's what he did. He ran the ball, and he did it really effectively. Landed 5-star transfer. I mean, that's great for Ole Miss. You guys are killing it. We're so happy for you. Lane Kiffin is doing exactly what we all thought he would be doing here. It certainly looks like Ole Miss and Mizzou, hindsight being 2020, you guys got the better end of those deals. Ty, my guy, I hope you had a Merry Christmas. Hey, I hope you did too, man. I hope you did too. Thank you so much. What a joke. KJ is going to be quarterback for Wyoming for $20. All right, Curtis, whatever you say. Really hope Centennial stays. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on there. I'm not going to – listen – I want to see Centennial stay. That's all I'll say. I want to see Centennial stay. I'd like to see Dozier stay. I'd like to see a number of those guys that he recruited stay, because I do think that they have – I mean, he recruits well, high school level. Ty, you're awesome, brother. Hope you had a good Christmas. Thank you, Mike Ledbetter. I appreciate that. Again, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. If you want to join the Patreon, the little guy over here, man, we're killing it on members. You guys that are Patreon supporters. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. What'd I do? There we go. I can post it. There you go. Hoyt says, we have landed a few good gets. Yeah, no, they have. And he's been a part of it, talking about Guiton. I'm trying to scroll down here and read. Hope this allows Petrino to get his guy at wide receiver as a wide receiver coach. Yeah. Honcho says still 0 SEC championship appearances for Ole Miss. Haven't been to the NCAA tourney for how long? Yeah, listen, they are a poverty basketball program. Make no mistake about it. But they have, I think, one of the top 5 coaches in college basketball, and they're undefeated. They did beat Memphis. That's been their best win. Damn this squeaky ass chair. They're you got to listen, man. Sometimes you just got to tip your cap. They're doing a good job. They got a damn good coach. They want. Oh, this is what it is, you know. Ty, do you want the new wide receiver coach to be Petrino or Pittman's choice? That's not complicated for me at all. I want it to be Petrino's guy, Manny. I want Petrino to be ahead of this, right? If you're fully handing over the keys in the way that I think he did with Enos, if that's what you're doing, then let him call the shots. And that's why I don't have a big – no, it's not like they're going to – I don't know that they're going to be night and day better next year. I don't know what the product's going to look like next year on the field. I have no idea. But if listen, you're either all bought in on Petrino or you're not. If you're Sam Pittman, you have to let Petrino – you have to let Petrino call the shots in terms of, or at least give recommendations, right? And if you're Pittman, you have to listen to those recommendations. Something Ole Miss had never done. Oh, I see. You guys are reading. Y'all hadn't won a championship in football since '64. When have y'all ever won a championship? Or do you have a few of those self-claimed? I think they're all like self-claimed before the BCS era, though. Remember when Ole Miss couldn't stop a 4th and 25? See, y'all be not. Addison's cool, though. Addison's all right. Although I've been calling you Addison Brook. I just realized that's B-O-O-K. Addison's okay. Comes in here. He's respectful. All right. Just like Richard Neal, the Mississippi State fan that comes in here. Super respectful. Farrell Hogman says, smash the like button and give Ty some love. Hey, yeah, for sure. Please do that. Here's some names. We can talk about. Now, these were actually sent to me, and this is just literally a group chat I'm in, and these were the names that were thrown at me. No idea. I mean, some of them are fairly obvious. Garrick McGee, okay. Garrick was at Louisville this year. But before that, I mean, we know his past, right? He was at Arkansas for a while. He was at Arkansas from 2008 till 2011. And then in 2012, 2013, he went and became a head coach at UAB. Since then, he's been all over the place. He was an assistant head coach back at Louisville, where he was also offensive coordinator and quarterback coach. You guys like talking about that era, you know, and what Bobby did and what was going on at Louisville. Garrick McGee was there through the good and the bad, so I don't know. He went to Illinois from 2016 to 2017. I forgot he went to Missouri. That, for whatever reason, for 2 years he was at Missouri. He was an analyst in 18, and then in 19 he was moved over to wide receiver coach. He did the same thing at Florida from 2020. He was an analyst until 2021, where he coached the quarterbacks. 2022 he was at Purdue, and then, of course, he followed to Louisville. We saw the kind of year Louisville had. I mean, that's certainly a recruiting advantage. You know, when you talk about his past, he was a part of all the stuff that happened here the first time, the good, right? I mean, that's on the recruiting trail, what you're going to talk about. You're going to talk about the good. Hey, you know, when I was here, coached the quarterbacks, Ryan Mallett and Tyler Wilson, I think if I remember right, he was the lead recruiter. I could be wrong on this, but he recruited Brandon Allen. If I remember that right, that could be mixed up. It seems right, given, you know, his position at the time. And Brandon Allen, of course, we know his final season here was incredible, you know, and he's still in the league. I don't know. I'm just trying to think. Listen, I worked in sales. I worked in marketing for a little while. I'm just trying to pull from everywhere I can. He is certainly a name I wouldn't be too upset about if he wanted to come in and coach receivers. He's been we know his experience. We just went over his time in the SEC. You wonder about his pipeline and kind of what he would do for coaching or going after these receivers. You wonder how well he would be received at Arkansas. Again, if Garrick McGee, talking about Garrick, how well received he would be. We know he's from Tulsa. And we know Arkansas's got that connection to Tulsa Union. They've been all over that region. Okay, Arkansas would love to keep doing that. And he would provide you a pipeline into that area, and as well as some other places. Of course, we already mentioned his time down in Florida. I mean, he's been everywhere. So, yeah, I think I don't remember for the life of me how involved he was as a recruiter, but I seem to remember his name coming up with Brandon and some other players. That feels like, well, I mean, it's been over a decade ago, but yeah, he's certainly a name that has come up. You guys tell me, what do you think of him? What do you think of Garrett McGee? Would you be okay with bringing him back? Hell, you already brought back Bobby. Why not bring a guy that was with him before? Garrett McGee was the secondary recruiter for Chris McClellan, 4-star defensive lineman from Florida who entered the portal earlier this month. Maybe he could tip the scales for Arkansas to land him. That's a good point, Cody. Let's see. Why won't the season hurry up so we can fire Pittman and get Bobby back in the driver's seat? All right. Ty, position you believe or wish Arkansas would make a change? What do you mean? What do you mean by, I mean, Manny, I don't know are you asking me if like a position coach maybe? I'm not really sure what you're asking me here. Next position you believe or wish Arkansas would make a change. I don't know. I'm thinking coach. I'm thinking you're meaning like another coaching change. I'm happy with what's going on defense. I want Deke back for another year on the defensive line. Everywhere else in the secondary, you all know how I feel about Woodson. The job he did this year was incredible. I mean, I know what he had to do with that defense or with the secondary. He was definitely involved. To say that is like an understatement. I don't know. I kind of feel like I think I'm okay. I think this was kind of it. I think Guiton is the guy where I'm like, yeah, no, all right, that's fine. It doesn't hurt my feelings, like Haas said in chat. It doesn't hurt my feelings. Nobody's job should have been safe from a year ago. I'm fine with keeping. I'm fine with. I like Matios. Obviously, they're not going to fire him. He just got the job. Jimmy Smith. I mean, recruits really well. I don't know that I been over this, but I'll say it again. I don't put what happened a year ago on him at all. Hell of a recruiter, very well connected in parts of the South. I don't know, man. I think I'm pretty much happy there, everywhere. Is Matios a better recruiter than Cody Kennedy? Well, we're about to find out. We know he had a pretty decent run. He had a couple 4-stars at his previous gig. We'll see if he can do that here. It's a different world when you come to Fayetteville, right? Now you're kind of where you're in the middle of it in Texas, where he was at before in the state of Texas, and now you're coming to Arkansas. We'll see what he does. Position coach. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think I'm pretty happy with who they have and where they have them, to be honest now. I mean, we'll see about the wide receiver coach. I don't know. What up, Ty? Hope you and your family had a Merry Christmas, Woo Pig. Appreciate you, Josh. Another Patreon supporter right there. Paul says, bring back Garrick if you want full-fledged Bobby Ball. The other name is Damian Craig, who worked with Bobby at A&M, at Texas A&M from 2018. He was at A&M from 2018 and was with Bobby when Bobby was brought in last year at A&M. He was there. He's another one of those guys that's kind of been all over the place. He's from Mobile, Alabama. Played at Auburn, and he also played in the league. Played for the Carolina Panthers from 98 to 2001. Then he went arena football for a little while. But yeah, I mean, he's someone who's got a very interesting background. I mean, he's been all over the place. South Alabama, he coached the receivers. Florida State, he coached quarterbacks. Auburn, he was co-offensive coordinator and the wide receivers coach from 2013 to 2015. 2016, he coached the receivers at LSU. 2017, he was quality control for Florida State. And then 2018 to 2023, he's been at Texas A&M. Who's the other one? Paul Petrino was the other name. I don't know that. Do you get both Petrinos back? I just don't see that happening. Paul kind of left. You remember how that 2012 season went? He took a lot of criticism in 2012. John L. took all of it or the majority, but Paul took quite a bit as well. I don't know. Who knows, right? After the last couple of years, anything can happen. I've given up trying to guess what happens. The other name that was on my list was Grant Hurd. Now, that's the wide receiver coach at UCF. He was at Indiana for a few years before that, where he was the wide receiver coach. Co-offensive coordinator 2020, 2021 for Indiana, and then he took on the job at 2022 to current at UCF as the wide receivers coach. You kind of like that idea because you can go into Florida a little bit maybe, right? He's also got experience. He played at Ole Miss as a wide receiver. He's got that background. I think he's the youngest of the bunch, right? He's 40, what is he, 43, 44? 45. I was wrong, 45. He's from Lake Jackson, Texas. McGee would be 50. I thought he was older than that, to be honest with you. And then Damian Craig is 49. Of course, Kenny Guiton, who just lost, is 32. So we'll see what they do. I think there's some options here. More than likely, it's going to be none of these names. But let's hope it's a Bobby Petrino decision or a Bobby Petrino target, if you will. So, yeah. Hopefully it's his guy. It's his guy. Honestly, Ty, how do you think this is going to end with Sam staying around or no? I don't want to give that away yet, Bobby, but I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I want to see – there's only so much you can take out of spring, but I'm very curious to see how Green or Criswell, how well they respond to the offense, to what we're going to see in spring camp, assuming, hell, they give the media – you remember the last 4 weeks of the regular season, the media was not allowed to go to any practice. So who knows what the hell happens in spring camp? Maybe Sam doesn't let us go to any of the practices. I don't know. But I'm sure they will. I don't know why they would, with it being spring. That was different, a little bit different set of circumstances with Kenny Guiton taking over. They didn't want to let anything out. I get it. This is different. But, yeah, I think I at least want to see this thing play out. I want to see how well these guys – well, first off, is there a quarterback battle? And I think there's going to be in the beginning. We'll see how it all unfolds. Again, you can only take so much from spring camp, but this time around you feel like you could take quite a bit. You want to see if it looks something similar to a finished product. And that's not the right terminology because spring they're only going to show so much of the offense. So – I just want to see if there's chemistry there, if it seems like there's good chemistry between Petrino, the rest of the coaching staff, how well they work with their players, with their given position groups, and how well they all flow together. With Enos, I don't know. He was very involved with his quarterbacks, and I bragged on him for that, and I think rightfully so. I like a coordinator. We're not talking about necessarily a head coach. We're simply talking about a coordinator getting involved and being down in the dirt with their players. I felt like that was Enos. For whatever reason, I think there might have been stuff going on behind the scenes, or just they never found that chemistry, but they were really good showing to the media that it looked like they had decent chemistry. I don't know. We'll see how maybe they switch things up in practice. I hope they give the media a lot of coverage this year and let us get a pretty good look. But in this day and age, it's just not likely. I don't know how this thing ends up. I've said all along, and I've not been bashful about it. I do think this was a Hail Mary PR move to bring Petrino in. It was like throwing a flare up in shooting a flare gun over and over. Of course, hey, look, we're doing something, and that's a hell of a thing to do, to bring in Bobby Petrino. They knew fans I think the reception, especially given what happened a few years ago, not a couple of years ago, a few years ago down in Little Rock at the Touchdown Club, Bobby Petrino got a standing ovation. They knew at that moment, I think, okay, if the opportunity arises, maybe we should give him a shot. And it just so happened they needed a Hail Mary. They threw it up. The fan reaction, it worked. It certainly took a lot of the heat off of Pittman. This is a PR move, 110%. It took heat off of Juracek as well. However, Pittman is now latched on his fate to Bobby Petrino. Now, Do I think it crashes and burns? It could. It's really hard to look at this and just be over the hills in love about what's going on. I was hoping we'd see a lot more movement at wide receiver this year than we saw. I wouldn't have been hurt at all if Tesla and Armstrong, the 6'7", Bodie. Why am I forgetting his name? The tall receiver, the 6'6", 6'7" kid. I wouldn't have been concerned at all. Tyrone Broden. There it is. I would have been concerned at all if those guys had moved on and they went out to the portal and maybe got some upgrades. I don't know if they did enough there, but I am excited about tight end. I don't think they're done, but I think they're at least heading in the right direction on the offensive line. However, they're not mind-blowing gets out of the portal along the offensive line. You're not talking about going out and grabbing anyone that's actually proven at a high level. And those guys are hard to get anyways. I get it, but I'm tight end. I think we'll see what happens with the running back room. I'll tell you this much. If EA's college football game dropped tomorrow, would there be a single offensive player? Remember how strict EA was. Would there be a single offensive player above maybe about an 82 overall? I mean, be real. Would Green, the transfer out of Boise State, the quarterback, do you think they'd give him the benefit of the doubt and all of a sudden jump him up to like 88? No. I guarantee you that cat's going to be 76 overall, 78. Running backs, with Rocket and AJ gone, who's going to be your highest rated back? And that's, again, I'm only using that as an example. There's a certain way you have to look at this. There's guys that right now on the surface don't look super appealing. From the outside looking in, there's not much it seems like Arkansas has to offer. You've got receivers coming back who didn't do much outside of Armstrong, who I really thought that dude was going to explode this year. Same with Tesla. Maybe they do this year. But from the outside looking in, this looks like a shit show. It really does. Oh, and they went out and they got Petrino. Realistically, it's up to Petrino to bring these guys out, do what he did the first time around at Arkansas. And if you remember year one, it's not like he lit the world on fire here. He didn't. It took him a couple of years. And, of course, it helped that Ryan Mallett was then eligible the following year. And then you go from Ryan Mallett to Tyler Wilson, right? Like, holy shit. I don't know that you're doing that here. It feels like Green is a guy that's going to take a couple of years to be developed. That's something I agree with Tim from Don't Read the Comments podcast. I agree with him on this. So all that being said, I don't know that they really have the talent to excel and explode this year. Maybe they have just enough talent and put a just decent enough product on the field, hopefully on both sides of the ball, to make a bowl game and to give them a sixth year. I say hopefully, for their sakes. No one's going to be happy with 6-6, but I feel like that would save his job. I think in Hunter Yurchek's eyes, that's all it would take is get into a bowl game. But I've been wrong. I've been wrong about this. I don't read his mind, Hunter's mind. I thought, yeah, there's no way 4-8 you're keeping your job, and he did. He kept his job. And again, he threw up a Hail Mary. He went and he grabbed Petrino. Obvious PR move. But like I've said on Mark Rogers, Voice of College Football show, like I've told others, like I've said in Discord, like I've said in Discord chats, it's a Hail Mary that could actually benefit Arkansas. It just might take a couple of years. I could be wrong too, and next year they go 9-3, 10-2. I mean, maybe Green is the next great thing at Arkansas. I'm telling you, his video, and I'm sure all of you or the majority of you have watched, that dude looks like so much fun to watch play. It is so fun to watch him play the game of football. There's a passing element I'm a little bit skeptical of, but again, maybe that's where Petrino can throw some Band-Aids on the guy, throw him out there, and again, put at least a halfway decent product out onto the field. I think the defense, I'm curious what they do, but I feel like the defense should be able to build off what happened last year. They were the reason when you go back and you look at those close games, they're the only reason those games were close to begin with. Stop giving these other guys credit. Well, Enos was the offensive coordinator. Look, they only lost this game, blah, 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 blah. Who gives a shit? It was your defense, and at times your special teams that kept you in those games. Hopefully they can build off this. Dwight McLaughlin's gone. That sucks. But I think they're bringing in some good pieces. But the offense, talking about on the defense side of the ball, but on the offense, I just don't know. I'm not real high on those receivers right now. They were given an opportunity to show me what you got. They didn't show me anything. I mean, I just wasn't that impressed. But I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt because of what happened on the field, because of Enos, because of the offensive line. No one was able to succeed. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I will say, when they were given opportunities, when KJ had time in the pocket, there were a lot of times those guys were not open. They struggled to get open. It was obvious enough that even the analysts covering the game would talk about it. I listened to certain podcasts around the country that were talking about, like, Arkansas's receivers sucked. They just weren't any good, when given those opportunities. But again, I don't think it's even fair to put any kind of blame on anybody outside the offensive line and Dan Enos. In the communication, maybe. I don't know. We all know that it is a big, complicated machine that you have to build from the ground up when you're talking about it, just a football program, a team. And now with the portal and now dealing with NIL, it's even more challenging than ever. And it's hard to blame Pittman for all of it. It's like this guy has had to change his philosophies along the way. He's had to figure this thing out as he's gone along. But you know what? So is everybody else. And other teams are actually blossoming from it. You're looking at Ole Miss, you're looking at Mizzou, you're looking at some other programs. You look down at SMU with a former Razorback coaching those guys. They figured out how to turn this thing around. Eric Musselman with basketball, 2 different sports, apples and oranges. I get it. Pittman just doesn't seem to have it all figured out yet. He hasn't put the pieces together, and we've yet to see a good offensive product with a good defensive product on the field yet since he's been here. That's hard to do. Not many coaches have done that here. That's hard to do here. It's like even when Bobby was here the first time. Great offense. Willie Robinson's your defensive coordinator. Horrible, right? It's hard to do here. It really is. But if they can get close, if they can build off what they did in 2023 on defense, if the offense can at least put something together on the field that resembles at least a working product on the field, then yeah, they'll probably win 6 or 7 games. I really think they could, but I'm not willing to say that, or I'm not willing to put that as a early prediction. Like I said, I don't even know if I'm going to do a prediction this year. It's just so hard to tell anymore. The portal has really gunked things up, and it's hard to know what you're going to get. You used to be able to do that and come somewhat close, and at least have a pretty decent idea of what they're going to be like. And this year, too, you got the whole schedule thing, 2 bye weeks. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm all about the double byes, baby. That might help them out a little bit, So we'll have to wait and see. We're still not done in the portal. We don't know who else we're going to lose. We don't know if they're going to lose anybody off the staff. We've still got a long ways to go. So just keep that in mind, right? Okay. Remember, Wednesday, I will not be – this is basically Wednesday's show. We're gonna look at Arkansas's next game, basketball anyways. They've got to take on a tough opponent, UNC Wilmington, who went on the road earlier this year into Kentucky. That'll be this Saturday at 4 p.m., but they went on the road into Rupp Arena and got a dub. These guys are not to be overlooked, and I'm sure Muss and his staff doing plenty of homework on these guys. We'll see what they do. Maybe they go small ball more. But UNC Wilmington's going to be a tough one. Saturday, December 30th, so we're going to get prepared Friday, so that'll probably be the next live show unless we have some breaking news or something. I do appreciate you guys. The Heisman winner left Arizona State with 9 touchdowns, 11 picks. Shows the right coaching changes. Player, yeah, I mean, absolutely. Feels like a bunch of Band-Aids applied to a severed leg. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of work with this team. Has should be 85. So Has will probably be your highest rated offensive player. I mean, let's be real. He'll probably be 84. But maybe. Again, EA's always been relentless to Arkansas. I mean, and he didn't play the whole year. But I feel like if there's going to be the highest rated player will likely be, I'm going to say it's probably going to be Has, tight end. I don't know who else it would be. Armstrong might be up there, like 82, 84. We'll have to wait and see, though. I'm excited, though. Pistons lost again. That's 27 straight games. Celtics beat the Lakers, baby. Yeah. Go C's, loving it. Honestly, in my opinion, if they go 8-5 with a bowl game, that's a fat ass W for Bobby and Sam. I mean, it just feels like they're a long ways away from 8 wins. I'll just say that. Like, they've got so much work cut out for them, man. AB on a heater tonight. He was the other night too, man. No, Nick Smith. Nick Smith dropped, 17 points in the fourth? Did you guys see that? Nick tearing it up, buddy. Go get your bag. Hit the like button. Let's run it up tonight, Ty. Ty's on a good one tonight. I appreciate you, Heath. Thank you so much. Steve-O says maybe Armstrong 84. That's going to be your highest rated offensive players. They're going to be 82, 80, 78, maybe an 84. Defense, you're going to have Jackson, who's probably going to be 88, somewhere between 88 and 92. Remember, he had one really good game, and that's kind of it. But overall, he still had a really strong year. Whose PFF grade is good? Who are you talking about? Oh, Carmona. Yeah, but, I mean, that only goes so far. I've seen some guys in the league with some pretty good PFF ratings and get kind of stiffed, in my opinion, on Madden. So we'll see. Yeah, he does. He has good grades, but you have to consider where he's coming from. Those grades are obviously going to drop now that he's in the SEC. I'm trying to scroll up here if I missed anything. When was the last time we had a real quarterback battle like we had with Criswell and Green? Was it Ben Hicks, Nick Starkel? Yeah, because Felipe Franks and KJ was never a battle. Yeah, I think that's right. I think it was. I feel like that's right. Hicks and Starkel. Oh my God. Ugh. Nothing against those guys. Just remembering that time was so brutal. So brutal. Yeah, that was Nick the other night. Yeah, 17 in the fourth. Way to go, Nick. All right. Like, share, subscribe if you're new. I appreciate you guys. We will be live before New Year's. I've got something really cool. I don't know what to do with it just yet. You guys, some of you are going to like it. Maybe I should just go ahead and show it. Maybe doing a giveaway. I don't know how I can do this yet. I want to make sure I'm up on all the rules and everything. Make sure my OBS is up here. That's a signed Mason Jones. Okay? That's signed. Mason Jones card. Look at that. Okay, and then here's the big one. Treylon Burks, signed. This is 9 of 10. 9 of 10, man. That is a legit autograph. Now, the jersey that's in here is not a game-worn jersey, but it is an authentic. The enclosed authentic memorabilia is not from any specific game or event. The autograph is guaranteed by Panini America. Yeah, how cool is this? Got my hands on. I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do with these. I am psyched I got my hands on these. I've wanted a Treylon Burks autographed card for a giveaway for a while. And I'm going to hunt down some more. I've got some more really cool cards I think we're going to do for a giveaway for this cycle. I haven't made up my mind which one of these I'm going to give up, but we've got some cool ones. Here's another Burks card. It's another Treylon Burks. Here's another Treylon Burks. This one's cool. We used to call that foil. Okay. And then we have Anthony Black foil rookie card. I don't know what I'm going to do with this just yet. I've got ideas. So, Ty, I need that Burks card, bro. I've got some ideas. I caught some DMs the other night when I showed this on Discord. So, I've got some ideas. Stick around. Hopefully I can get some things straightened out, but I'm really excited. I've got some more stuff. I also have a Patrick Beverly. I pulled a Patrick Beverly the other day. I mean, you guys know I've been collecting cards for years. You can't really see that. It won't focus. That's Bev, baby. All right. So, just keep your ears to the ground, right? When I have an idea, when I have a good idea of what I can do with these cards and what I plan on doing with them, I'll let you guys know. Again, give you another look at these. There's Mason Jones autograph and the Treylon Burks. Oh my gosh. A part of me, I mean, listen, part of me really wants to keep them both. Mason Jones is one of my favorites. So yeah, okay. Pat Bev is a bad man. He is a bad man. I like watching him play. I love that dude's game. Great defensive player. Yeah, this is a NBA hoops card. I haven't collected NBA cards in a long time. Same with the NFL. I pulled this the other day. You guys might find this funny. I know. Listen, we're kind of done with the Razorback talk for now. So if you guys got to head out, no big deal. But I did pull. Where is it? So I saw this and got excited for a second, but I pulled a Brandon Miller. I thought when I saw that Hornets jersey, I go, bro, it's Nick Smith. It's not. It's the wrong player. I'm sure there's an Alabama fan out there that might want that. $2 or 50 cents. 50 cents and it's yours. All right. I had a couple of Bug Nasty. Oh, Big Nasty. I was like, who's Bug Nasty? Big Nasty? Any Big Nasty? When I was a kid, I had like several coreless cards. I had several coreless cards when I was a kid. I had Scotty. I had those Razorback. I don't know what I did with them. I may have given them all away. I had the Razorback collector cards. They were just Razorback players. I had John Daly, Lou Holtz. I don't know what I did with them. Man, I need to find those. They're really cool. I've thought about giving those away. Did I give those away? I don't know. Anyways, you guys stay tuned. I appreciate you. We'll be back on Friday. Make sure, again, on your way out, like and share if you want to join Patreon. We're going to be doing some things in Patreon. 2023, what a year for Tuss Talk, the YouTube channel. I'm trying to get this copied here. What a year for the channel. Growth was awesome. Just incredible for Patreon. Again, there's Patreon if you guys want to join. Updated stickers hopefully are coming this year. I mean, they are going to come this year. I just don't know when. I'd like to get them all printed up before spring, maybe hand some out. If I can get enough made at the spring red-white game, assuming they're having it in Fayetteville this year. Or if they go to Little Rock, I'll probably follow them down to Little Rock, whatever they decide to do there. And then, of course, getting those out first to certain Patreon supporters. Got so many Patreon supporters, I can't do what I did last year where I just sent them all out. I can't do that. There's too many Patreon supporters. That would cost a lot of money to get those all printed up because I do those all in-house. So what I may do is like $8 and up supporters, maybe they'll get them. Legendary status members get them first, and then the $8 and up people. I don't know. Let's figure it out. Anyways, I appreciate you guys. We're up on the hour. Shout out to the sponsors, Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. Same-day services, quality parts, affordable outcomes. They've got it all covered for you. Hundreds of 5-star reviews. They've got the 10% off deal going. I think it's till this 1st. I'm pretty sure it's till January 1st. 10% off any garage door repair. Give them a call today at 501-244-3667. And, of course, the Odd Soul Craft Bar and Pizzaria located on Emma Street in South Springdale. Fantastic pies. Awesome, awesome staff. A great place to hang out, watch the game, do whatever. The Odd Soul Craft Bar and Pizzeria. Okay, I'll see you guys on Friday. Have a good rest of your week. Stay warm.